Good morning, everybody. What a joyous occasion. I'm Interim Dean Gary Cuddyback. I'm going to say a few words before we start our official program, but greetings, everybody. We come together for a day of joy, celebration, and accomplishment. For students, this is the culmination of years of hard and dedicated work. For family members and loved ones, this is a moment to be proud of and to cherish. For the next hour or so, we are all in this space together, and all are welcome. Yet our moment of celebration comes at a time marked by great pain and humanitarian crisis, where challenges to social justice and the right to peaceful protest and free speech are playing out right in front of us, where the anger that is rooted in historical and contemporary injustice is right at the very surface. We can hold all of these things together here. The joy, the anger, the pain, that's what we do as social workers. That's what we do as a profession. We can also hold on to hope. That's hope that we can make things better. The same hope that drives us as social workers in the hard work that we do. Students, this is the same hope that led you here right now in this moment. I have hope. I have hope in the students before me, my colleagues behind me, and the families and loved ones and guests in attendance today. Please share a few moments of silence with me as we honor each other and recognize all of the emotions we are feeling today. And let's end in joy and celebration. Now I will turn things over to Dr. Stavara Clark, who will kick off our ceremony. Thank you.
A little shorter. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right. My name is Dr. Stavara Haley Clark, the VCU School of Social Work's Interim Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs. We are so pleased to be celebrating the class of 2024 in front of all their family and friends. As you share your excitement today on social media, please use hashtag VCUSSW 2024 on your Facebook, Twitter, or X, and Instagram accounts. I would also like to say thank you to our American Sign Language interpreters from Mosaic Interpreting Services, photography by Photo Specialties and Cindy Newmark, and our live broadcast stream by Advanced Visual Productions. It is now my honor and privilege to reintroduce the Interim Dean of the School of Social Work, Dr. Gary S. Cuddyback. Dr. Cuddyback's research is focused on individuals living with severe mental illness, mental health services, and the intersection of mental health and evidence-based interventions. Please join me in welcoming Dean Cuddyback and thanking him for his work in our community.
Thank you for that introduction, Dr. Clark. It really is an honor and a pleasure to welcome you all, faculty, staff, families, friends, loved ones, and most of all, the class of 2024. Welcome to the May 2024 commencement ceremony for the VCU School of Social Work. To our graduates, the day you have all been working towards is finally here. We are so excited to celebrate with you. On behalf of all of us here at the School of Social Work, I want to say congratulations, you did it. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our distinguished and dedicated faculty and administrators who have taught, mentored, inspired, and supported all of our graduates on their journey. Would our faculty on stage and any community-embedded faculty in the audience please stand if you wish so we can recognize you. Thank you. Class of 2024, you join the company of generations of graduates who came before you, and you stand as inspiration for those who will come after you. You are joining a family of over 12,000 VCU social work alumni, along with over 700,000 social workers nationwide. Since the school was established in October of 1917, we have been a leading school of social work, consistently ranked among the top schools in the nation for our excellence in education and service. Our stellar reputation is driven by the excellence of our faculty and staff in pushing the boundaries of new knowledge, as well as the quality of our graduates who go out into the workplace and drive change at the clinical, community, and policy levels. For 107 years, we've seen students like you learn, grow, make an impact, and create change where change is needed most. Today, we celebrate you and the impact you will be making throughout our community, not only here in the Richmond area, but across the nation and the world. We believe that our greatest contribution as a school and to our community is our students and our alumni, and you are proof of this. While I have already acknowledged the dedicated efforts of our full-time faculty, I would also like to thank the many others who ensure the quality of our students' educational experiences. We have the Office of Student Success, to whom we owe a debt of gratitude for their work in recruiting and advising our students. We have social work staff. We have community-embedded faculty and community-based field instructor. We have alumni and donors, and we have an extensive network of community partners. We could not prepare the next generation of change agents without the hard work of all of you. So please join me in a round of applause for the VCU social work team and all that they do. At this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize the work of one of our faculty members who's making a difference in our communities. Our school presents the Social Justice Award each year to recognize the work of faculty who make an impact with work that addresses social injustice, both locally and around the world. This year, I'm pleased to present the Social Work Justice Award to Dr. Liz Kramer. Liz, please join me at the podium. Professor Kramer has been at the School of Social Work for 28 years and is affiliate faculty for the VCU Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies Department. For 5 years, she served as a member of the I-Cubed Intersections in the Lives of LGBTQIA+, sorry, I messed that up, LGBTQIA+, I want to get that right, Communities Core. Her practice and scholarship areas are domestic violence, particularly abuse of individuals living with disabilities, and group work. Her research is primarily community engaged, and she has authored numerous journal articles, books, chapters, and curriculum modules in her substantive area of research. Briefly, I'd like to share an excerpt from Dr. Kramer's nomination for this award. Liz embodies commitment to social justice in all that she does at the School of Social Work. She has demonstrated those commitments over her long career. As a teacher, she is deeply thoughtful about her approach and committed to creating classroom spaces that are inclusive, innovative, and challenging in order to help students realize their potential as social workers. As a researcher, she has dedicated her career to the rights of people with disabilities and has made a lasting impression with her work to design, implement, and evaluate programs aimed at helping people with intellectual and developmental disabilities build and maintain healthy and safe relationships. In addition, she is a dedicated mentor who actively seeks opportunities to work with students and faculty alike to support them on their paths through the academy. For a lifetime of dedication to social justice in her teaching, research, and mentorship, I'm honored to nominate Liz Kramer for the School of Social Work's Social Justice Award. Let's all give a round of applause for Dr. Kramer. You're good. I don't have a clap yet. Thank you, Liz. Thank you very much. I would also like to recognize Dr. Kramer again as one of our 2 faculty members who will be retiring at the end of the academic year and are featured in our program today. Dr. Kramer has a distinguished record of service to the School of Social Work, having served on numerous committees, and her professional service includes journal reviews, journal editorial boards, federal grant reviews. For years, Dr. Kramer was the principal investigator for the ICANN Accessibility Project, which was funded by the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services, Virginia Sexual and Domestic Violence Victim Fund. Please join me in applause again to recognize Dr. Kramer's many contributions and unwavering commitment to the school. Our second retiring faculty member is also today's commencement speaker, Dr. Frank Baskind, who holds the distinction of having the third longest tenure as Dean of the School of Social Work, and who has been serving most recently as Dean Emeritus and Professor. Dr. Baskind also served as the University Ombudsman for 5 years between his 2 roles with the School of Social Work. During his career, Frank taught courses in social work policy, community and organizational practice, and spirituality and social work practice. And Frank also served as a field instructor and liaison for students in the social work field practicum. Frank is also an accreditation site visitor for the Council on Social Work Education's Commission on Accreditation, and his scholarly interests are in generalist social work practice and professional social work education standards. Under Frank's leadership, the School of Social Work reached its highest ranking at number 13 nationally, received contracts totaling over $20 million to manage a Head Start program in Richmond, and the Virginia Institute of Social Services training activities for the Virginia Department of Social Services. I can't think of a better way to honor Dr. Baskind's contribution to VCU and the School of Social Work over 32 years by having him serve as commencement speaker today. I know he will have great wisdom to share with all of our graduates. Let's give Dr. Baskind a warm welcome as he joins us at the podium.
You know, as Gary made that very fine and thoughtful introduction, and you're all clapping your hands, today is really about you. We're celebrating you, your accomplishments, and your contributions to improving the quality of life as students. So congratulations, graduates of the class of 2024. And this is a special time for everyone here. Parents, grandparents, family members, children, and friends. It's really my honor, and it's a privilege to congratulate and welcome the B.S.W. and M.S.W. graduates into the profession of social work and the Ph.D. recipients into the Academy of Scholars. Congratulations. Now, the reality is everyone who's sitting in the stands have supported the graduates in so many ways. And we'd like you to know that your graduate has chosen a profession that opens great opportunities for a wide range of work and career experiences. The profession of social work is their golden ticket to a meaningful career and a meaningful life, especially when helping others to improve the quality of how they live their lives. Now, their job, the job of the graduates, is to find the job that fits and allows them to be happy and to once again become themselves. As parents and grandparents, we know when there is a fit at work, we continue to grow and to learn. Class of 2024, you are saying goodbye to people, places, and experiences that have become a chapter in your book of life. Our caring faculty, classmates, your special friends, those field practicum experiences that provided opportunities for class concepts and theories to jump out at you, to come alive, and to help you see the integration for practice. And we're saying goodbye to Zoom. Thank God. Together you experienced a pandemic and all those assignments and projects with all those deadlines, and we know as faculty some of them came in the same evening on the same day. Now imagine your future without writing and submitting papers while struggling to juggle your family responsibilities and employment, or a sudden illness and a pandemic. There were times of real anxieties about the unknown. With my faculty colleagues, we witness your resilience and your perseverance and your problem-solving skills, faithfully attending classes, submitting all those written assignments, and flourishing, definitely flourishing as learners in the social work profession. And along with everyone here in the Siegel Center, we recognize your dedication. We're very, very proud of you as you transition from the role of student to your readiness to face the joys and the challenges of social work practice or an academic career. Are you ready? What did you say? Well, today I'm preparing my transitions also, a transition to retirement. And what I've been finding over the last few weeks is really I'm reflecting on 53 years of being in this profession of social work as a practitioner and as an educator. But what's happening is I keep hovering over my beginning social work practice experiences that influenced my understanding of who I was becoming as I was finding my fit in the roles of a practitioner and then as an educator. What I'd like to do is to briefly share 2 or 3 experiences with you, some of which may resonate. And it begins back when I graduated from the University of Connecticut School of Social Work. I thought I was ready to start that newly created position as Director of Social Services at a chronic disease and rehabilitation hospital. And my wife and I were extremely happy. We had our first child, and the salary was so high, $10,500. And that's true. On the first day of work, I recall walking past the telephone booth at the entrance to the hospital. And I found myself beginning to imagine that I was like Clark Kent. Do you remember who Clark Kent was? That character in Superman? Well, here I am, Frank, walking past that telephone booth, leaving that telephone booth, and becoming another person, the Director of Social Services with the M.S.W. degree and ready to practice social work. Don't let this happen to you. Be who you are. Be who you are. I was so excited about earning that M.S.W. degree, I was not aware of the value of teamwork and the contributions of the nurses, that consultant psychologists who came in weekly, the PT and OT therapist, and the support staff. Unbeknownst to me, I was becoming the job title. And this illusion lasted for several months. My true self, who I was as me, was slowly disappearing. I had some knowledge and skills, but I was not as ready as I thought. When we go out into practice in the real world, we become an ally of the helping team. As change agents, we strive to help others improve the quality of their lives. We cannot practice in a vacuum. We are systems thinkers with a generalist perspective, knowing how to work with others within systems. Now, looking back on those beginning days after graduation, I wish I had focused a little more on knowing who I am than focusing so much on what I should know and what I can do. Maybe all those papers and assignments in my day also got in the way. Indeed, our knowledge and skills, those concepts, those theories, those perspectives, that beginning blossoming toolbox, They're essential, and they inform us as practitioners and as educators. From my practice experiences working in a hospital, a police department, and a suicide prevention crisis hotline, these become more meaningful and a lot more effective when integrated in practice with who I am, with my true self. It's not only the job title and what we know and what we can do that identify us as professional social workers. It is continuously discovering who we are becoming in our helping and in our teaching, how these really come together in our lives. And this is an ongoing process in our lifelong learners as professionals. When you're not comfortable with practice or teaching situations, and you are beginning to really truly discover in your heart of hearts that you do not know something, it's okay. Just look. Everything you need to know is there somewhere in your VCU social work education. It's in the practice skills that you're developing over time. And it's there when sharing openly and honestly with a supervisor or a colleague. Over time, you will begin to understand that you are always beginning new practice wisdom as an educator and as a practitioner. Now, many years ago, when teaching at a college, a student told me I was artificial. Honestly, he really said, "Frank, you're plastic." Figure that out. I was stunned. I didn't know what this meant. I felt hurt, unable to grasp the meaning of artificial. Today, my understanding of being artificial occurs when we let ourselves become the position and play the role. When we come across to others appearing mechanical or on autopilot, we're becoming less authentic as a practitioner, as an educator, and as who we are, our true selves. And I have to honestly say, this may be tempting. It may happen to you. One final early career experience was as a social worker in a youth bureau of a town's police department. Working with the police officers, I was hired to identify and develop community programs that would divert troubled kids away from the criminal justice system. The grant was funded for 1 year. I was finally becoming comfortable in what I was doing and what my role was, but I was back on the job market within the year. I'd searched the local newspapers, and we have to remember back in those days, no internet, no LinkedIn, and I applied for the position of assistant professor of mental health nursing in developing a brand new baccalaureate nursing program. I don't have a degree in nursing. I had a social work degree with transferable knowledge, values, and skills, and some beginning work experience. This position launched my career in higher education and in social work education. This could happen to you. Takeaway, think about this. You will always be employable. And I say that to you, but I really say it to your parents and grandparents and those who assisted you to be here today. You will always be employable. But remember, it's not only what you know and what you can do. It will be because you can be yourself, while describing the fit between how these are put into you, how they're incorporated into who you are as a person and as a practitioner. Now today, with my M.S.W. degree, with a specialization in social casework. Have you ever heard that term before? Do you know what it is? Social casework is direct micro practice. With a background in micro practice, today I'm instructing macro courses in social welfare policy to first-year M.S.W. students. the message, transferable knowledge. The first-year M.S.W. course in social welfare policy at the University of Connecticut was not my favorite. I thought it would never be. I earned a grade of B. Consider this. Try to write a paper on the topic, how much social welfare can the United States afford? Well, how much social welfare can the United States afford? This question generates much discussion and opposing viewpoints in our society today. Learning from the practice voices of clients, students in class in the field, it became very obvious to me early in my career that policy informs practice and practice informs policy. Your critical thinking skills, coupled with your use of self, your knowledge and your values that are required in macro and micro practice, they're identical, they're similar, they're the same. It's you. And you represent one profession. Social work is one profession. Well, why am I mentioning this? Today's political and social forces are creating a serious need for social work practitioners and educators to fill multiple roles between case and cause to make a difference for social justice. Your faculty here in the VCU School of Social Work has taught you well. And you are the change agents at the intersection of the person and the environment. And you are the change agents who will make a difference. And you're going to make a difference because you're ready to establish helping relationships to enable people to meet their basic human needs. And you are ready to make a difference to embrace individual differences and diversity and continuously learn to be comfortable. And you will make a difference to advance peaceful means to conflict situations, to use research and your communication skills to demonstrate the need for policy changes to address all forms of social and economic injustice and discrimination. And you are ready to make a difference to display human dignity and respect that engages people as partners, mutual partners, to include students in the learning process. You are ready for one wonderful reason. You are a graduate of the Virginia Commonwealth University School of Social Work. Class of 2024, are you ready? Did I hear you? Are you ready? Yes, you are. Now it's your turn. Go, make a difference, and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Baskind, for those inspiring remarks. Guests, it's with great pleasure that I stand before you today to introduce a graduating class characterized by their unwavering dedication, resilience, and profound commitment to their communities. To the graduates of the VCU School of Social Work, witnessing your growth and success during your time here has been truly gratifying. The skills you have honed and the values you have embraced will undoubtedly empower you to make a lasting difference in the lives of individuals, families, and communities. Your potential to instigate change is boundless, reaching far beyond what you may currently envision. Today, we gather alongside your loved ones. We celebrate this monumental milestone you have achieved. Your determination, passion, and resilience are still inspiring. As you embark on the next chapter of your journey, know that we stand ready to support you in your endeavors as agents of change. Please do not hesitate to reconnect with us when you return to campus. We eagerly anticipate hearing about the remarkable contributions you undoubtedly make. Best wishes to each and every one of you as you forge ahead into a bright and impactful future. I would now like to take this opportunity to give special recognition to the graduates who have distinguished themselves throughout their education at the Virginia Commonwealth University and the School of Social Work. All of our award, scholarship, and certificates are listed in our program. If you have received an award, scholarship, or a certificate, please stand now to be recognized. Everyone, please join me in congratulating these graduates. Latin honors are awarded to undergraduate students to indicate the level of academic distinction with which the Bachelor of Social Work degree is earned. Students, as I describe the following distinctions, please rise if you have been awarded this honor. Please remain standing until the end, and please hold your applause until the end. To graduate cum laude, graduates had to have earned between a 3.3 and a 3.5 overall grade point average in all courses attempted at all colleges and universities. To graduate magna cum laude, graduates had to have earned between a 3.6 and a 3.89 overall grade point average in all courses attempted at all graduates and universities attended. And finally, to graduate summa cum laude, graduates had to have earned a 3.9 or higher overall grade point average in all courses attempted at all colleges and universities. Would the B.S.W. graduates earning Latin honors please stand up and join me in congratulating them and all of the other graduates in their major achievements. Students, you may be seated now. And now, please welcome our interim Ph.D. program director, Dr. Umberto Fabello, who will review the requirements for graduating with a Ph.D. degree in social work.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Welcome, everyone. Your deep connections with and investment in the life and journey of our Ph.D. graduates make each of you a warm and distinguished presence at today's commencement. In universities throughout the world, the Doctor of Philosophy, or Ph.D., signifies the highest level of academic achievement in most disciplines. Virginia Commonwealth University School of Social Work has awarded the Ph.D. since 1981. During the first 2 years in the program, doctoral students complete rigorous coursework in theory, research, and a specialized area of their own choosing. I hope this doesn't provoke any sort of anxiety as I review this. They then consolidate this coursework in a qualifying examination in a specialized area of interest. Following successful completion of the qualifying examination, students propose and conduct an independent research project that culminates in a dissertation, which they defend publicly. Finally, while doing all this, our doctoral graduates today have also excelled in teaching our B.S.W. and M.S.W. students and are off to a great start as emerging scholars with having made many conference presentations and already published their research in scientific journals. Today, we are proud to confer this hard-earned distinction on 6 graduates of our doctoral program: Dr. Aaron Kammerer, Dr. Sunny Kim, Dr. Angela Matichak, Dr. Brittany Pitts, Dr. Hilary Stim, and Dr. Mauricio Yavar. And now I am pleased to formally introduce Dr. Aaron Kammerer as our PhD student speaker. Aaron has been a proud VCU Ram since 2008. In 2012, he earned a BA from VCU Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies and Philosophy Department. And in 2020, he earned an M.S.W. And today, he receives his doctorate from VCU School of Social Work. Since 2010, Aaron has served community efforts aimed at reducing housing instability and gender-based violence in Central Virginia. Please help me welcome Dr. Kemmerer to the podium.
Good morning. Almost afternoon. What an incredible honor to stand before this amazing group of scholars. I must thank God today for my many blessings. My family, I see y'all. I love y'all. Mom, Nolan, Kristen. I try not to cry. Finally made it. Thank you to everyone here, all of our family and loved ones that are in the stands, and family and loved ones around the world. Thank you to the faculty and staff at VCU School of Social Work and every educator who has taught us along this journey. Class of 2024, y'all are amazing. You have worked tirelessly and served this community, and I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of all of us. The trouble is, on this day of great celebration, I am meant to promote positivity, the power of perseverance. But y'all know this. You completed a social work degree during a pandemic. What can I possibly teach you about perseverance? And given the state of our broken world, how can I promote positivity? I thought, should I address injustice, violence, war? Should I talk about peace? Dare I speak of peace for the children of Gaza, Israel, the United States? I will ask you humbly to consider which side of history you would like to be on. But I will never leave you in despair. Instead, let me tell you about a value that was instilled in me by my grandfather. My papa, may his memory be a blessing. He was a truly compassionate man, a man of faith, who provided for and cared for his family. He taught me about compassion in the deepest way possible, through his everyday actions. As an adult, I learned about compassion from the great Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. He taught me that the word compassion literally means to suffer with. In social work, ours is primarily the work of the heart and the soul. We are all too aware this world is full of pain, uncertainty, and fear. What salve may soothe this global discontent? Only compassion will do the trick. We must answer the call to suffer with others, our close loved ones, neighbors, and yes, strangers around the world. Indeed, social work's compassion is unparalleled. It's already transformed the world deeply. Some changes have been small, changing one child's life, perhaps. Others have been large, like reforming an entire community's healthcare system. Allow compassion to be your North Star, and never fear speaking truth to power. You will see your actions make a difference. And remember always to practice self-compassion. Know yourself and love yourself completely. As you begin practicing social work and embarking on these careers, with your big, unbounded heart, take care of yourself. Today, Celebrate yourself and each other. Congratulations, class of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron, for such an inspiring and timely message. Dean Kudebak, Associate Dean Clark, members of the faculty of the School of Social Work, the following candidates who will be called to the platform individually to be hooded by their dissertation committee chair have all successfully completed the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and are highly qualified to be recognized for their accomplishments. Y'all ready? Our first graduate, Dr. Aaron Kammerer, who will be hooded by Dr. Maurice Gaddis, his dissertation chair. Dr. Kammerer's dissertation is titled Housing for Transgender and Gender-Expansive People in the United States South. In addition to Dr. Gaddis, his dissertation committee included Drs. Nicole Corley, Alex Wagaman, and Ethan Costin. Dr. Kammerer, please come forward to be hooded. Our next graduate is Dr. Sunny Kim, who will be hooded by Dr. Kyungmo Kim, her dissertation committee chair. Dr. Kim's dissertation is titled Neighborhood, Home, and Community-Based Services and Older Adults Health in Virginia. In addition to Dr. Kyungmo Kim, Dr. Sunny Kim's dissertation committee included Drs. Denise Burnett, Holly McGinnis, and Jenny Inker. Dr. Kim, please come forward to be hooded. Our next graduate is Dr. Angela Matishak, who will be hooded by Dr. Maurice Gaddis, her dissertation committee chair. Dr. Matishak's dissertation is titled Family Rejection and Affirmation Experiences Among Racially and Ethnically Marginalized Youth Who Identify as Transgender and/or Gender Diverse. In addition to Dr. Gaddis, Dr. Matishak's dissertation committee included Drs. Nicole Corley, Alex Wagaman, Jacob Goffnet, and Eli Constant. Dr. Matishak, please come forward to be hooded. Our next graduate is Dr. Brittany Pitts, who will be hooded by Dr. Jamie Cage, her dissertation committee chair. Dr. Pitts' dissertation is titled Wrestling with the One-Drop Rule, Exploring Multiraciality in Social Work Education. In addition to Dr. Cage, her dissertation committee included Drs. Nicole Corley, Elizabeth Kramer, and Lynette Mawani. Dr. Pitts, please come forward to be hooded. Our next graduate is Dr. Mauricio Yavar, who will be hooded by Dr. Tracy Weichert, his dissertation committee chair. Dr. Yavar's dissertation is titled, I Call Them Supermoms, Therapist Reflections on the Impact of Youth Sexual Offending on Latina Mothers. In addition to Dr. White, Dr. Yavar's dissertation committee included Drs. Nicole Corley, Oswaldo Morena, Melissa Grady, and Amy Yoder. Dr. Yavar, please come forward to be hooded. And our last graduate to be recognized today, who is unable to be present today but is participating online, is Dr. Hillary Stim. Dr. Stim's dissertation is titled Exploring the Experience of Refugee Youth in Public Schools, an Ethical Phenomenological Inquiry. Dr. Stim's dissertation committee was chaired by Dr. Elizabeth Kramer and also included Drs. Nicole Corley, Miriam Kudikat, and Kurt Stemhagen. Congratulations, Dr. Stim. Please join me one more time in recognizing all of our PhD graduates today. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our M.S.W. Program Director, Dr. Nikki Lee.
Thank you, Dr. Fabello. Good morning, distinguished staff, faculty, colleagues, Dean Cuddeback, honored guests, families, friends, and the amazingly fabulous class of 2024. I am truly honored to see all of you here for this celebration. Today, we acknowledge your hard work and celebrate you as you add a new chapter to your life story. Today, you add 3 letters to your name: the M, the S, and the W. These letters identify you as part of a profession that is rooted in social, economic, and environmental justice. Your journey to this point in the story has not always been easy. You are here in spite of witnessing injustices on the local, state, national, and international levels. Many of you have had to succeed while being directly and personally impacted by these additional stressors. Furthermore, many of you have had to navigate multiple roles and responsibilities while finishing your coursework, completing hundreds of hours of work at your field placement, and negotiating other responsibilities. You have had late nights, early mornings, and sometimes tears. And yet, you are here, ready to engage with marginalized and oppressed populations, ready to critically examine issues. You are, as Barack Obama said, the ones we've been waiting for, the change we seek. Your story has been a complex one with many characters who intervened when you needed support. I want to thank your family, your friends, your professors, VCU advisors, your circle of trust members, and your squad for lifting you up and helping you get to this point. Finally, to the class of 2024, this is just the beginning of this chapter in your story. Having these 3 letters is not the end. You must constantly hone your craft. Be open to the richness, the wonder, and the magic of being part of such a critically important profession. Thank you for making social work a part of your life story, and thank you for making VCU School of Social Work your academic home. Now, I would like to introduce you to the class of 2024's M.S.W. student speaker, Fatima Batul. Fatima is a first-generation college graduate who obtained her Bachelor of Social Work from Virginia Commonwealth University and continued to attend the Advanced Standing Master of Social Work program at VCU. She is proud to be the first in her family to pursue higher education and hopes to inspire others to strive for their goals. She is also an artist and works on vibrant paintings, believing in the power of creative expression for healing. Her professional aspirations intertwine with her passion for art and commitment to social work. She hopes to cultivate spaces for others to explore their creative potential as a means to navigate life's challenges and foster growth and resilience. Fatima.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for your wonderful introduction. I was going to say good morning, but it is noon now, so good afternoon, and welcome to friends, family, faculty, staff, and my fellow graduates of 2024. I would like to start off with a well-deserved congratulations to each one of you. I often find myself marveling at how quickly time seems to pass, and it feels surreal that we're already here. It has been quite a whirlwind of a journey, to say the least, and I hope that you are proud of yourselves for your dedication to achieving this milestone. We're not just celebrating individual accomplishments, but rather a collective journey that has brought us here today. I would like to express a heartfelt gratitude to all of our guests who are here today. Your presence shows how much you've believed in the capabilities of your graduates. I would also like to acknowledge loved ones who might not be in the room with us physically, but their presence and support is strongly felt. To my classmates and peers, I'm incredibly grateful that we've believed in and uplifted one another, but most importantly, I'm grateful that we've believed in ourselves in order to get to this point. For many of us, the opportunity to attend university could not have been achieved without the unwavering support of others. From the encouragement of our loved ones to the guidance of our professors and mentors, or even the generosity of funding opportunities, we could not have done this alone. Thank you for cheering us on, and a special thank you to whoever invented 48-hour extensions, and thank you. And thank you to the professors who granted them to us for many of our assignments. I personally owe an immense amount of gratitude to my parents, who, like many immigrants, left behind the familiarity of their homelands, inspired by the promise of what is called the American dream, but are often disillusioned when they are met with language barriers, cultural adjustments, financial hardship, and the terrifying experience of rebuilding their lives from scratch in a foreign land. Despite the hardships that they have faced, their love and support for their children is overpowering. Their resilience and sacrifices serve as a continuous source of support and inspiration for me, and I carry their dreams with me no matter what. It is a privilege to pursue higher education, let alone a career in social work. And that privilege comes with a profound responsibility. It is our responsibility to recognize that our roles and actions have the power to create meaningful change and life-altering impacts no matter where we end up in the field. Therefore, we must be committed to challenging injustices and promoting equity in the work that we do, regardless of how uncomfortable it may be. No matter how challenging, it is important to implement the values of empathy and compassion to create positive change in the lives of others. We must go beyond just gaining awareness of systems of oppression, but also using our voices, knowledge, and skill set to dismantle it and stand with those who are oppressed or marginalized. With that being said, free Palestine. While I could go on about the difficulties I faced in my own life, the truth is, life is hard on all of us. I believe that each one of us has our very own unique path, and at times, that path will inevitably bring forth obstacles and uncertainties in our lives. When this happens, keep in mind that the way we respond to these adversities will play a crucial part in how our timelines unfold. We may often wonder what our futures hold for us. I believe that our futures hold nothing other than what we hand it. I would like to remind you that the same way life presents hardships that you would have never thought you would face, you will also overcome them in ways you wouldn't have imagined you were capable of. In that process, I hope that you carry the lessons with you and use them to strengthen your connection with yourself and others. Be intentional about how you pursue your deepest passions and desires. Lean into your inner compass and move forward with courage. It will take you far. Lastly, I would like to share a favorite quote of mine by an Irish novelist named Maria Edgeworth. If we take care of the moments, the years will take care of themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima, for such an inspiring message. And now, I would like to present our faculty members who will be performing the hooding of the M.S.W. graduates. Doctors Cassie DeSena Jacobs, Kimberly Compton, Ananda Newmark, Alex Wagaman, and Nicole O'Priest. Dean Cuddeback, Associate Dean Clark, members of the faculty of the School of Social Work, I present to you the 2024 M.S.W. class. These individuals have successfully completed all degree requirements and are now ready to be recognized for their accomplishments. Calling the names of our M.S.W. candidates is faculty member Dr. Shanita Williams. And Allison Riles. think this has ever happened before. I forgot. If you all could please rise, and someone will be with you to help you to the stage. Thank you.
Fatima Batul.
Cynthia Yvette Esavita.
Reba Argawal.
Haneen Alakras.
Audrey Alexander.
Carolina Allen.
Kristen Alfonsi.
Becca Amos.
Zainab Al-Zaid.
Keegan Anderson.
Christina Anthony.
Lexi Apollony.
Heidi Arroyo.
Rachel Austria.
Tiana Ayala.
Andy Balch Cronk.
Savannah Barnett.
Kelly Barnhill.
Gianna Barone.
Deanie Berrien.
Jennifer Bivens.
Eliza Bonilla.
Elena Boyle.
Alex Brocious.
Jasmine Bryant.
Michaela Bryant.
Lauren Burris.
Jordan Marie Brzezinski.
Samantha Kane.
Jamie Camp.
William Chris Campbell.
Ciara Cannon.
Abigail Rose Carlson.
Brianne Leggett.
Jordan Clark.
Caitlin Klein.
Shamaya Colden Burson.
Kara Comer.
Rachel Hillary Camerford.
Stephanie Connor.
Paige Crilly.
Cynthia Cross.
Ailey Crookshank.
Lindsay Cunningham.
Riley Curtis.
Christina Daly Quintel.
Patrick Davis.
Shaquana Davis.
Ruth DePaz.
Joshua Nathaniel Diamond.
Jordan Dobra.
Elena Dominguez Brick.
Brianna Domini.
Morgan Duffy.
Krista Dolong.
Kelsey DeWire.
Lincoln L.
Sydney Fidel.
Lauren Farity.
Samantha Faith.
Daquan Faircloth.
Courtney Fields.
Kira Finnefrock.
Alice Flanagan.
Jessica Flores.
Ashley Floyd.
Destiny 4.
Eleanor 4.
Tina Frazier.
Marty Fulpike-Stat.
Elizabeth Garcia Alvarez.
Rose Catherine Gerena.
Ames Gersten.
Hillary Getsy.
Faith Ann Givizani.
Gianna Dorothea Gianni.
James Angelo Glover.
Andressa Gordillo.
Colleen Gravely.
Cullen Ridgway Green.
Ashley Gregory Burris.
Nadia Tafaha Grigg.
Emily Grassi.
Krista Goudet.
Alicia Haas.
Caitlin Marie Harrington.
Stephanie Harrison.
Ren Aaron Harth.
Molly Haynes.
Jenny Heatwold.
Lily Hetrick.
Brittany Hicks.
Alexis Hingle.
Ariel Ho.
Samantha Hoback.
Ashley Holland.
Bailey Honeycutt.
Sierra Faith Horton.
LaTracia Hunt.
Aaliyah James.
Jacqueline J.O.
Jules Jernigan.
Olivia Jesser.
Antoine Johnson.
Ara Joe.
Anna Jane Johnson.
Paige Kiera Johnson.
Chioma Joseph Obi.
Caitlin Joseph.
Casey Callahan.
Julia Maitreya Kenner.
Lee Hamilton Kennan.
Hannah Kestner.
Cheryl Clower.
Bianca Kwan.
Caroline Kowalczyk Lakeem Bihani.
Janelle Lambert.
Amy Leho.
Ling Yung Garada Lin.
Whitney Ledesma.
Claire Pauline Lindsay.
Vanessa Ramil Martinez.
Elsa McCutcheon.
Kelly Loss.
Kazia Mericho.
Jessica Mack.
Ty Martin.
Andrew Martinek.
Cameron Mason.
Oyan Mayers Walker.
Dejan Mayo.
Louise McDonald.
Michael Aaron McBee.
Rebecca McNulty.
Caroline McWhirth.
Kara Miller.
Audrey Monserrati.
Kirsten Miner.
Daniel Nallen.
Maya Jenashir Ele.
Chelsea Oakley.
Sarah O'Donnell.
Beck O.
Sara Fedlina Oliva.
Morgan Orr.
Eric Paz.
Caroline Phillips.
Natasha Phillips.
Rachel Pollock.
Jennifer Radcliffe.
Savannah Rankin.
Rebecca K. Ratcliffe.
Chastity Reynolds.
Marvin Roan.
Sarah Robeson.
Angela Marie Duran Roan.
Angela Ross.
Michael Ross.
Paige Rano.
Todd Rump.
Anna Sales.
Sammy Santini.
Helen Siyum.
Rebecca Shannon.
Markia Shivers.
Jacob Wyatt Shope.
Hannah Sullivan.
Katie Stapleton.
Camille Starr.
Amber Steeneck.
Amanda Jordan Straughter.
Jamaica Shantae Taylor.
Tania Taylor Jenkins.
Rose Andrea Teague.
Paula Torito.
Asiana Thomas Jackson.
Layla Thacker.
Amala Thomas.
Karen Torres.
Magnolia Totero.
Melissa Tran.
Suji Trump.
Vanya Vasquez.
Elizabeth Vaya.
Katie Vellante.
Chloe Hodson Watkins.
Elaine Watts.
Rachel Lauren Wells.
Devin Margot Whitesell Brim.
Cameron Williams.
Jesse Williams.
Shannon Kelly Williams.
Julianne Wilson.
Ruth Wilson.
Paige Wise.
Rebecca Withrow.
Brooke Whitwer.
Derek Wong.
Lakeisha Woodson.
Brooks Woody.
Casey Yinyo.
Grace Yu.
Jessica Zarnagar.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. You all may be seated. And now, I'd like to introduce our B.S.W. Program Director. But before we do, I would like to give another hand of applause for all of our M.S.W. 2024 graduates. So now, I would like to introduce our B.S.W. Program Director, Dr. Stephanie G. Odera, as we recognize our undergraduate class graduating today.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. And now, like a fine wine or a decadent dessert after a family meal, we've reached the best part of the ceremony. the presentation of the 2024 B.S.W candidates. Today marks a major milestone in your journey as professionals who are committed to making a positive impact on the lives of individuals, families, and communities. As program director, I have seen firsthand the dedication, passion, and hard work that you all have put into your studies and your field placements. I'm proud of each and every one of you for the countless hours you spent reading, writing, listening, reflecting, while juggling life responsibilities. Your achievements demonstrate your capacity to learn, to grow, and to advance the field of social work through your practice. Graduation is not only an opportunity to reflect on what you've accomplished, but it also offers a moment of anticipation for what lies ahead. The world we live in is facing many challenges, from social inequity to climate change to political polarization. As social workers, you're entering a profession that is called upon to address these challenges with empathy, creativity, and courage. In the words of Professor and activist Audre Lorde, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid." Committing to the work that we do as social workers is not an easy task, but it's a necessary one. It requires us to engage in self-reflection, to recognize our biases and limitations, and to work collaboratively with others. It also requires us to be humble, to listen to the voices of those we serve, and to learn from our mistakes. But most importantly, this requires us to maintain hope in the face of adversity. Hope is not just a feeling, it's a mindset that enables us to see opportunities where others see obstacles, and to persevere in the face of setbacks and challenges. I encourage you all as graduates to lean into radical hope and make room for radical joy, especially when the world gives you every reason not to. Keep learning, keep growing, keep connecting with others who share your vision of a more just and compassionate world. And most importantly, keep believing in yourselves and the power of social work to transform organizations, communities, and individual lives. B.S.W candidates, on behalf of the B.S.W program, the School of Social Work, and VCU, I want to congratulate you on all that you have accomplished as social work practitioners and scholars. The best is truly yet to come. Now, for our B.S.W student speaker, Emily Park, to share her story. Emily is graduating magna cum laude from the B.S.W program. Over the past 4 years in the School of Social Work, Emily has discovered her passion for understanding people for who they are and not just what they do. Emily attributes much of her success to the support of her parents, step-parents, and crediting her mother, a licensed clinical social worker, herself as her inspiration. Looking ahead, Emily will continue her education in the Advanced Standing M.S.W program here at VCU with a concentration in clinical practice. She then intends to pursue a path of medical social work with a drive to advocate for health and well-being of minority populations. Emily, please join me on the stage.
Thank you, Dr. O'Dara, for your introduction. First of all, I wanted to congratulate the School of Social Work's entire class of 2024. It is such a privilege to speak to you all on behalf of the B.S.W graduates. We would not be here in our caps and gowns without the support systems of each graduate. I know that this system looks different for everyone, and I want to give a shout out to my peers who are first generation, parents or guardian, and non-traditional students. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge our loved ones who could not be here today. This class has demonstrated so much strength and resilience to get to this day. When I graduated high school 4 years ago,
I and many of my peers sitting in front of me were unable to experience a commencement ceremony like this due to the pandemic. This pandemic turns everyone's world upside down, depriving us of human connection that I know took a toll on my mental health. On top of this, we have borne witness to some of the most tragic and unfathomable events, not only within our own communities, but across the globe. The class of 2024, like too many classes before and after us, has seen systemic failures disproportionately impacting minority populations such as people of color and LGBTQIA+. We have watched the violent responses to peaceful protests simply stating that Black Lives Matter and to cease fire, even on our own campus just last week. We have grown up in a world where our youngest members of society must learn lockdown drills in school, where history is erased from their curriculum and their books are banned. We have seen history go back in time as women lose autonomy over their own bodies. Meanwhile, Earth is experiencing a climate crisis and billionaires are multiplying their money by the minute. I promise I'm getting to the inspirational part. We cannot deny the reality of what is happening around us, and I feel privileged to receive a college education within a program that encourages conversations about these concepts and provides safe spaces in which my peers and I can simply try to understand this life together. Thank you to our faculty and staff for creating this environment and allowing us to be our true selves while teaching us to understand our weaknesses and check our personal biases. Whether you are a B.S.W, M.S.W, or Ph.D. graduate, entering the field of social work amidst all of this is a brave and beautiful thing. I know from my own experiences that when you tell people you're going to be a social worker, the reaction is not always the best. I hear a lot of, "We need more people like you," and they're right. On the first day of class this semester, a professor had each of us share what we wanted to do in social work and who we wanted to serve. I heard focuses on trauma, substance use disorder, veterans, immigrants, those who are unhoused, the child welfare system, the aging population, etc. In the B.S.W program alone, we covered so many demographics. I'm so grateful to be a member of this graduating class. It has been a privilege to take this journey together, to learn from each other, and to call you my friends. As we graduate and begin the rest of our lives, I want us to consider who we are going to be, not just what we are going to do. My peers embody empathy, humility, grace, and a deep commitment to social justice. I am immensely proud of each and every one of us as today we become alumni of VCU School of Social Work. I cannot wait to watch us change the world. Congratulations.
Thank you, Emily, for sharing your story. Dean Cuddyback, members of the faculty of the School of Social Work, I present to you the 2024 B.S.W class. These individuals have successfully completed all degree requirements and are now ready to be recognized for their accomplishments. Calling the names of our B.S.W candidates is faculty member and B.S.W Program Assistant Director, Allison Riles. Graduates, please stand so you can approach the stage.
Emily Park.
Brittany Adkins.
Caitlin Aguilar.
Amelia Anderson.
Faith Arata.
Mel Ostatka.
Sarah Bachman.
Sarah Moreno Baldwin.
Nadia Bangura.
Pamela Frances Barrett.
Caitlin Bean.
Bo Beecham.
Taylor Bernard.
Joyce Boyce.
Savannah Briegel.
Vonyanique Brown.
Sydney Brookman.
Nicole Bryant.
Sade Cass.
Rosie Cerritos Rivas.
Anaya Chase Goins.
Caroline Chester.
Carolina Clower.
Jenna Cohen.
Caitlin Cole.
Sophia Conroe.
Sadie Cox.
Diana Crowder.
Nicole Dan.
Maricar DeCastro.
Michaela Deneen.
Kira Dunn.
Austin Ezzard.
How you doing? Congratulations.
Anastasia Fleischman.
Jillian Fortney.
Elizabeth Gentili.
Katie Gregory.
Ashley Hall.
Claja Hannah.
Nicholas Michael Hooray.
Jack Hoholik.
Hannah Holland.
Faith Holmes.
Takaya James.
Nancy Johnson.
Kudibar.
Ariel Lader.
Samantha Leal Pepe.
Amber Lewis.
Jamia Lowe.
Chandler Mabry.
Tasnuva Majid.
Giselle Martinez.
Jaylene Martinez.
Ashton Miller.
Ro Mora.
Madison Murphy.
Lily Nadell.
Nicole Perez Pardo.
Faith Price.
Kavita Ramashwar.
Molly Ramirez.
Danielle Roten.
Colin Schooler.
Jasmine Singleton.
Catherine Slattery.
Anaya Spriggs.
Jada Squirewell.
Madeline Stahl.
Kayla Swope.
Krisha Thomas.
Sonia Timberlake.
Jocelyn Valenzuela.
Michael Berner.
Elizabeth Wallace.
Thank you, Professor Rouse and Dr. Williams, for reading the B.S.W. names. Please join me in congratulating one more time the B.S.W. class of 2024 and all our graduates. And now I'll turn this back over to Dr. Cuddyback for his closing remarks.
Thank you, Dr. O'Dara. Graduates, we're almost ready to make your accomplishment official by turning the tassel. First, we need to do something very important. Graduates, take a second to acknowledge your family, friends, loved ones, wherever they are. You didn't take this journey alone. Completing a higher education degree successfully can often take a village, whether it was help with tuition, a shoulder to lean on, a good meal, or a pep talk. When you needed it, let's take a moment to thank you for for those who traveled this road with you, spouses, partners, significant others, siblings, children, stepchildren, grandparents and uncles, aunts and cousins, friends, colleagues, coworkers, and anyone else who helped you on your journey. Let's give one more round of applause for your family and loved ones. Okay. You are now about to join a profession with a proud heritage and history. You are a social worker. We look forward to witnessing the amazing work you will do throughout your career. As alumni of the school, we hope you will carry forward your education as supervisors, field instructors, alumni who continue to engage with us. And now there's one last thing I invite you to do. In a moment, students, I'm going to invite you to move your tassels from right to left. Once this is done, our official program will be over, music will cue, faculty will begin to exit. This happens somewhat abruptly, so I just want to give you a warning, right? And you will be able to connect with family and friends. Are you ready? Students, move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations. Let the celebration begin.
Aaron Kimmerer. Dissertation, Housing for Transgender and Gender Expansive People in the U.S. South. Sunny Kim. Dissertation, Neighborhood, Home, and Community-Based Services and Older Adults Health in Virginia. Angela Matichik. Dissertation, Family Rejection and Affirmation Experiences among Racially and Ethnically Minoritized Youth who identify as transgender and/or gender diverse. Hillary Therese Stem. Dissertation, Exploring the Experience of Refugee Youth in Public Schools, an Ethical Phenomenological Inquiry. Mauricio P. Yabar. Dissertation, I Call Them Supermoms. Therapists' Reflection on the Impact of Youth Sexual Offending on Latina Mothers. Brittany E. Pitts. Dissertation, Wrestling with the One-Drop Rule, Exploring Multiraciality in Social Work Education. Reba Agarwal, Zainab Al-Saheed, Sybil El Barzinji, Haneen Al-Akras, Audrey Alexander, Kristen Alfonsi, Carolina Allen, Lisa Allen, Becca Amos, Keegan Anderson,
Yusuf Ansari, Christina Anthony, Lexi Apollony, Heidi Arroyo, Rachel Austria, Tiana Iala, Andy Balch Kronk, Sav Barnett, Kelly Barnhill, Gianna Barone,
Fatima Batul, Jenny Bivens, Eliza Bonilla, Sarah Botvinnik, Molly Bowers, Elena Boyle, Brianna Domini, Alex Brocious, Jasmine Bryant, Michaela Bryant, Lauren Burris, Jordan Brzezinski, Samantha Kane, Jamie Camp, William Campbell, Sierra Cannon, Abby Carlson, Bree Carper, Priam Shibber, Jordan Clark,
Caitlin Klein, Shemaya Colden Burson, Kara Comer, Rachel Comerford, Stephanie Connor, Victoria Cooper, Paige Crilly, Cynthia Cross, Ailey Crookshanks, Lindsay Cunningham,
Riley Curtis, Christina Daly Quintel, Shaquana Davis, Ruth DePaz, Joshua Diamond, Jordan Dobra, Lauren Dodd, Sarah Dodd, Elena Dominguez Brick, Laura Dow,
Morgan Duffy, Krista DeLong, Kelsey Dwyer, Maya Ellie, Sydney Fadell, Lauren Firety, Samantha Faith, Mackenzie Fanny, Courtney Fields, Kira Finnefrock,
Alice Flanagan, Jessica Flores, Destiny 4, Eleanor 4, Tina Frazier, Marty Fulp Eichstadt, Sepha Gagbel, Elizabeth Garcia Alvarez, Maria Gasperi, Rose Jarena,
Ames Gersten, Hillary Getzi, Faith Givazani, Gianna Gianni, Daniel Gillespie, James Glover, Andressa Cordelia, Colleen Gravely, Emily Grassi,
Krista Gude, Melody Hackett, Kate Harrington, Stephanie Harrison, Ren Harth, Molly Haynes, Jenny Heatwall, Emma Heinrich, Ashley Hessler, Lily Hetrick,
Brittany Hicks, Kaylin Hill, Ashley Holland, Bailey Honeycutt, Sierra Horton, Bridget Ivy, Haley Jackson, Caprice Jackson, Aaliyah James, Jacqueline J.O.,
Jules Jernigan, Olivia Jassar, Ara Joe, Anna Jane Johnson, Antoine Johnson, Paige Johnson, Chioma Joseph Obi, Caitlin Joseph, Emily Keenan, Casey Callahan,
Julia Kenner, Lee Kennan, Hannah Kessner, Bianca Kwan, Caroline Lakeem Binani, Janelle Lambert, Amy Leo, Whitney Ledesma, Lingyun Lin, Claire Lindsay,
Kelly Lost, Jessica Mack, Tavan Mayer, Anne Malawa Wadu, Ty Martin, Andrew Martinek, Florence Martinez, Cameron Mason, Angela Matichek, Ayan Juhaha Myers Walker,
Dijon Mayo, Nicole McBee, Elza McCutcheon, Louise McDonnell, Rebecca McNulty, Caroline McWhirт, Kara Miller, Dan Molina, Audrey Monserrati, Kirsten Miner,
Daniel Nayland, Betsy Newsom Moody, Chelsea Oakley, Beck O, Sarah Oliva, Morgan Orr, Eric Paz, Caroline Phillips, Natasha Phillips, Rachel Pollock,
Jennifer Radcliffe, Savannah Rankin, Becky Ratcliffe, Chastity Reynolds, Marvin Roan, Sarah Robeson, Bianca Robson, Abby Rodler, Angela Marie Roan, Angela Ross,
Michael Ross, Paige Rano, Todd Rump, Anna Sales, Sammy Santini, Anastasia Schleffer, Rebecca Shannon, Amanda Sharps, Gabrielle Sheeks, Rachel Shields,
Markia Shivers, Jacob Shope, Grace Simmons, Katie Stapleton, Amber Steeneck, Hannah Sullivan, Larissa Sutherland, Sarah Sykes, Tania Taylor Jenkins. Jamaica Taylor.
Rose Teague. Layla Thacker. Asiana Thomas Jackson. Amala Thomas. Corinne Torres. Magnolia Totaro. Melissa Tran. Suji Trump. Vanya Vasquez. Katie Belante.
Marissa Walia. Chloe Watkins. Elaine Watts. Noelle Weckerman. Rachel Wells. Cameron Williams. Jesse Williams. Shannon Williams. Julianne Wilson. Paige Wise.
Rebecca Withrow. Brooke Whitwer. Derek Wong. Lakeisha Woodson. Brooks Woody. Daryl Wright. Casey Yenyo. Grace Yu.
Mitzi Albert. Elena Arabia Meyer. Azelle Battle. Philip Bienhauer. Sandia Bernard. Jar Bishop Hardiman. Monique Brown. Tina Buettner. Monica Cavalcante. Devin Clapp.
Ellis Cradle. Kayla Curtis. Jacob David. Stephen David. Katie Davis. Tamika Dozier. Bo Farard. Monir Frazier. Ashley Floyd. Courtney Fuquay.
Francesca Gonzalez. Sarah Goswick. Raina Gradford. Ashley Gregory. Bree Hazlip. Cindy Hunnick. Jennifer Hawkins. Aaron Henshaw. Jocelyn James. Tamara James McMillan.
Cheyenne Johnson. Jessica Jones. Tamor Kamaloff. Michelle King. Brielle Kittrell. Elise Lamprecht. Jessica Lincoln. Warren Lowry. Casey Manya. Dylan Matthew Gilmore. LaShonda McCrae. Bailey Malini. Francis Menard. Tatiana Moss. Derek Nevels.
Cynthia Yvette Acevedo. Blakely Barker Baker. Deanie Berrien. Julia Isabel Bridgen. Patrick Davis. Alicia Haas. Ariel Ho. Latricia Hunt. Cheryl Alton Clower. Kazia Marichaux.
Rebecca Nickerson. James Lighton Orr. Christine Marie Paquette. Haley Peterson, Helen Sayom, Camille Starr, Paola Tarito, Nadia Tufaha Grigg, Elizabeth Ann Va, Jessica Galezka Zarnaga.
Brittany Atkins, Caitlin Aguilar, Amelia Anderson, Faith Arata, Mel Estatke, Sarah Baldwin, Nadia Bungora, Pamela Barrett, Katie Bean, Bo Beecham,
Sarah Berlin, Taylor Bernard, J.P. Boyce, Savannah Briegel, Sydney Brookman, Bonjanique Brown, Nicole Bryant, Kimberly Carter, Sade Cass, Rosie Cerritos Rivas,
Anaya Chase Goins, Caroline Chester, Carolina Clare, Jenna Cohen, Caitlin Cole, Sonia Connolly, Sophia Conroe, Sadie Cox, Diana Crowder, Nicole Dan,
Mary Carr DeCastro, Michaela Deneen, Kira Dunn, Austin Ezard, Anastasia Fleischman, Jillian Fortney, Elizabeth Gentile, Katie Gregory, Ashley Hall, Clasia Hannah,
Nicholas Hart, Jack Haholic, Hannah Holland, Faith Holmes, Takaya James, Nancy Johnson, Catherine Kudiabor, Ariel Later, Julianne Lane, Samantha Leopepe,
Jamia Lowe, Chandler Mabry, Taznuva Majid, Giselle Martinez, Jaylene Martinez, Ashton Miller, Ro Mora, Madison Murphy, Lily Nadell, Alana Pardo,
Emily Park, Nicole Perez Pardo, Bo Perry, Faith Price, Kavita Ramashwar, Molly Ramirez, Danielle Roten, Ashton Rivers, Kayla Ruiz, Colin Schooler,
Angie Shiflett, Jasmine Singleton, Catherine Slatery, Anaya Spriggs, Jada Squirewell, Madeline Stahl, Kayla Swope, Chrysia Thomas, Jocelyn Valenzuela, Elizabeth Wallace. Leah Andrews. Kaylee Harris. Asia Moses. Amber Lewis.